Hello, everyone. Um, we were in the process of setting up the single sign-on. Um, where we left the part one was we copied the identifier and reply URL from the Boomi Atomsphere sign-in URL page. We talked about the attributes and claims. Moving on to the SAML certificates. That's a third card. Um, what we're going to do is download the certificate base 64. It's going to download in the .cer format, which is exactly what we need. We're going to keep that handy. Moving on to the fourth tab, setup Boomi. We're going to copy the login URL, and that's copied. Once that's done, we're going to navigate to the single sign-on options in Boomi. And the login URL that we just captured, which we copied, we're going to copy paste it right here in the identity provider sign in URL. And let's go ahead and click save. What we're going to import here is click on import and the certificate that we just downloaded. So please select a file containing a public cert, which the format we accept is .cer and .der. Click on choose a file and then select the certificate that was just downloaded. And it should import and look something like this. If you're using Microsoft Azure as your IDP, it should look something like this: Microsoft Azure Federated SSO certificate with an expiry date. And it autofills the sign out redirect URL. What we're going to do is uh, delete that and again click save. Um, Moving on to the below section of Federation ID location, it depends where you want the Federation ID to be. There are two options. Your Federation ID to be in the Federation ID attribute element or the name element of the subject. For today's video, we're going to select Federation ID in the Federation attribute element. The other option here we have is the SAML authentication context. What we're going to select is password protected so that we have the list of users who are trying to log in can only log in when they have a username and password. Um, when we click unspecified, it accepts any type of authentication method, and none, that means anything's fine as well. Um, Moving on to the SAML authentication context comparison levels, we're going to set it at exact, and yeah, that's it. Let's click save. Everything looks good here, and we've already set up the Microsoft Azure sign-on page with SAML. The last step that we want to do is let's get our users set up correctly in the user management tab. So as soon as we enable the SSO option for the account, we get an extra field, something called as Federation ID, and it would be blank initially. So you may ask what Federation ID does. Um, what Federation ID does is we use that to identify the user who is requesting the access to the application. So that's how we tie up the IDP setup and the Boomi setup, the Boomi SSO setup. So this cannot be blank, or you might face issues such as a forbidden error, forbidden SSO error. Please make sure that this field is case sensitive, so it should be matching the um, exactly what it's set up on the Microsoft end. How we can verify that is, let's go into user and groups, and this is a user. Let's navigate below to the contact information. I'm going to copy the email address and navigate to the Federation ID and paste it right here. The user just has the standard Boomi default standard user role. I'm going to click OK. And yeah, I think we're good to go. Let's go ahead and test our connection if everything is working and set up correctly. One way to do that is navigating again to the single sign-on. Um, there is a fifth and the last card that we have in here is to see if the single sign-on is working. So let's click on test, and I'm currently signed in as test Boomi user. Sign in as the current user. Test sign in. If everything's correctly set up, what it's going to do is it's going to navigate us to directly to the Boomi platform. As I'm already signed in into the Azure portal, it won't navigate me to the IDP login screen. And yeah, there we go. We are already logged in, and that ensures that our SSO setup is correct, and we're good to go. Um, and that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching.